Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. I am live. It is the 13th of July at about 11 a.m. Pacific time, and I'm so glad to see some of you guys here as well. So, I want to let you know that we are over in the chat room, and you can find the chat by heading over to 12radio.com, clicking on the chat button, and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. Easy enough. And of course, I am live streaming this event from YouTube and from Facebook. So if you'd rather watch than listen, just search for Domestic Mystic Katie Weaver on either platform, and you should find me and be able to watch there. So that's how to do it. I have an errant hair that's driving me crazy. It's like through my eyelash and sticking to my nose or something. Okay, I think I got it. Sorry, guys. Who knows what's happening here? At any rate, I'm glad to be here. I hope you guys are having a good day and a good week. I want you to know that this is the episode every month where I read from cards from all of my colleagues and myself. So we'll do that later in the show after we've done some other stuff. But I wanted to let you know now so that if you would like a reading today, ask for one. Give me a question, please. I'm more likely to take readings that are specific questions than I am for general reads because that takes a little longer. And here on the radio, we don't have that kind of time. So I would prefer a specific question we can work on together. But I'm going to show you the cards. So we have the Connecting to the Universe deck by Keisha Angel. Keisha is a professional psychic advisor at 12 Listen and had a show here for quite a while here on 12 Radio. We have the Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle cards from Christy. We have Mo Tarot from our very own Mo Abdelbaki. We got to hear from Mo just this morning on CA's show. We have both of Kelly's decks, the Sweary Spirituality decks. We have the Gratitude Oracle by Angela Hartfield. You guys, if you haven't ordered this deck yet, why? It's on Amazon. It is so beautiful. I could spend an entire show just showing you every card from this deck because they are so freaking gorgeous. Upside down. Anyway, plug for Angie. If you have not bought this deck yet and you're thinking about a new deck, buy it. Treat yourself. It's awesome. And then, of course, my deck, the Ground Bless Protect and Move deck. So we'll be reading from all of them today. This is one of my favorite shows. I really love to put a spotlight on everybody's hard work. Since I have done a deck and published a couple of books, I know how much work they are and how much goes into them. And I love that everybody, featured here has been through a similar path. This may be a reason why you might want to be in the live stream today, by the way, so that you can actually see what's happening and see the cards as I'm showing them. That's one of my favorite parts of doing this episode is that you get to see all of these cool cards and all the gorgeous art. So it's up to you, but I'm sure glad to have you guys on board with me at any rate. Yeah. All righty. So there's a situation going on at my house right now. It just happened. It just started a few minutes ago. But there's ducks. There's 6 ducks in my yard running around the side yard, just quacking it up. And the thing is, there's a long canal, a large canal that runs behind the back of our property and then down at the end of the road. It curves around. It's an irrigation ditch. And 2 days ago, it was completely drained. I'm not really sure why. Sometimes you'll see it drop significantly when they release water, but it's like empty. And it was full of mamas and babies, ducks. And so I think they're a little confused about where they're supposed to be now and where their water went. So there's a mama with 5, not little babies, like adolescent babies, running around in my yard. And Yeah, so keeping an eye on that because there's lots of dogs and cats in this neighborhood that might not be nice to mamas and baby ducks. Yeah. So anyway, Scott got me going on the air so we could run outside and see what needs to happen. I This is probably insane, but I have this idea that maybe what we should be doing is trying to capture them and take them to a local pond. Is that stupid? Probably stupid. But I don't know. I don't want anything to happen to them. We live adjacent to a really busy, dangerous road, and if they got out there, they would not survive. Yeah. So, anyway, I'm not so sure that my dogs wouldn't be naughty to them too if they had the chance. So, anyway, that's my thought process. That's where I'm at with it, and I'm hoping we can keep them safe. So, who knows if we run around like crazy people in the back, or the side yard and the end of the dead end, and probably the neighbor's yard, catching ducks and stuffing them in a box. You'll know why, but we'll see. Yeah, but yes, I love ducks too. I have such a soft spot for ducks. You know how amazing ducks are. Damn it. Yeah. Now, if they were geese, we would not do that because geese bite really hard. I don't know if you know, but geese just bite so damn hard. But are they mallards? I believe they are. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen them, but that's usually what's down there. So I'm guessing I'll have to go out and check it out when I get done here. I just as I sat down, Scott called me on Skype. He said, "Did you see the ducks run past your window?" And I didn't because my window's shut for the show. But then I realized I could hear them out there quacking. So poor babies. We'll figure it out, by God. No ducks are going to suffer on my watch. All righty. Well, I hope you guys are having a good week. I Pretty interesting energy going on, We're in an interesting place. That new moon, I don't know. I am hearing from a lot of people that they're having all kinds of dreams. Seems like dreaming, like lucid dreaming, is a real thing right now, which is interesting. It has been for me too. Other things, feeling kind of pensive, um, a little bit nervous, or like you're anticipating something, but you don't know what, seems to be a theme right now. And also feeling like you want to get going. I'm hearing that from a lot of people. They need to get going, whether it's get going with a project or something else that you want to do, or it's simply something that you want to get going from something like your job or even a relationship. He's seeing a lot of my clients right now and need to move on, or kind of be a mover and shaker and shake something up. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out up into the full moon. So we'll see. Okay. Denise said, I can just see a car full of ducks going down the road. So years ago, we had some friends who their son had brought a couple of baby ducks home with that permission. And that's what everybody wants, their kids to show up with ducks. And they had a little bit of like acreage, a bigger yard, but they didn't really have a place for ducks. But his mom had died recently, and they didn't want to shake him up too much, So they let him raise the ducks up until they were adults. And then one of them got loose or got out into the road and got hit by a car. And that was really heartbreaking. And so they were having a hard time keeping him safe, and it was turning into a lot of stress. And so they had asked us if the ducks could come here, because at the time, we had turkeys and chickens and pheasants. And so I was like, hey, yeah, we can take ducks on, no problem. And so he knows us. And so they had told him, hey, because we're having a hard time keeping them safe, we're going to take them to weavers. And, if they were set up correctly in our pasture, they would be fine. It's just that where they are right now is not the pasture and it's not safe. But anyway, so we brought these ducks home. They brought them here, 3 ducks. Well, the first day they were here, They did a dance on my entire green bean patch and completely wiped it out. So Scott was not happy that I invited these ducks to come live here. And with the next couple of days, they just destroyed more and more of our garden. And Scott finally is like, the ducks have got to go. We didn't have a pen for them and didn't really want to pen them. So we have a local park. It's called the nature park. Very creative. It has 3 ponds. There's lots of ducks over there. The community takes care of these ducks and loves them. And so we felt like this would be a good thing. And we could probably relocate these ducks over there and they'd have lots of, duck friends over there and they'd be okay. And there's lots of food for them and this would be a good thing. But I wasn't sure if you're actually allowed to just go take ducks and dump them over there. I figured you're probably not. And so, and I had reached out to a few other farm friends to see if somebody else could take them, and everyone said no. And in the meantime, the garden is getting totally destroyed, and it turned it into a thing. So I convinced the kids we're going to catch the ducks. We're just going to take them over to the nature park, and we're going to do it at night, just in case it's a problem. And, I. So, and believe me, I would have never taken them over there if I thought it was an unsafe situation. We actually go over there and feed the ducks all the time. So I figured we'd probably see them frequently when we walk over there and stuff. Like, I felt really good about it. But anyway, so we catch these ducks. And I just thought that, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought that, these guys could just hold the ducks while I drove and we'd just go over and, we'd just turn them loose. Well, I don't know how our friends got them here. They must have put them in a tote or a box or something because ducks don't like the car. And as soon as that car started and started driving, those ducks went crazy. Now, again, this was the dumbest plan that's ever happened, but they were scratching the shit out of the kids and hollering and quacking and carrying on and pooping all over them. And luckily, the nature park's not very far. It's probably 1.5 miles from my house. But by the time we got there, those kids were beat up, pooped on, screamed at. The ducks couldn't get out of the car fast enough. As soon as we opened the door, they were out and headed to the pond like, goodbye, stupid. But and then the kids were all mad at me because I made them do that. And they got their asses kicked by a bunch of little ducks that don't like the car. But probably not one of my best moments. But hey, I saved the garden and the ducks got to go live in a duck dreamland. So I guess all's well that ends well. But I've never forgotten how what chaos ensued. And I'm trying to drive, and the kids are all yelling and screaming, and the ducks are all quacking, and there's poop everywhere. And yeah, it was a nightmare. So anyway, note to self: ducks don't actually like the car, not even a little bit. Who knew? Should have been us actually, but anyway, now you know. Yeah, Chris said my kids are good sports. Yeah, they are. They've gone along with a lot of shenanigans around here. Yeah. Pamela says ding dong duck ditch. Yes. Well, obviously by the time we got there, the ducks couldn't get away from us fast enough. So it all turned out fine. All 3 of them ran, then flew and hit the pond as quick as they could, and they didn't look back. They didn't ask us to come visit. They did not want us to write. They wanted us to get the hell out of their lives, which we did. My poor kids. Well, enough about ducks. Maybe. We'll see. Let's talk about Luminous, which is not about ducks, just to make that clear. Luminous is, of course, the magazine I publish every Tuesday. It came out just a little while ago. So I am going to share a link in both chat rooms, but you can also find it over at katie-weaver.com. Just click the luminous tab there and you'll find it. Oh, let's see. Yeah, okay. Alrighty, so let's take a look. First of all, this cover. Am I right? Yeah. It's this gorgeous cottage. This one's more like a fantasy piece. It's not a picture, it's a painting, probably, or a graphic art, but I loved this. There is something about these old English cottages that speak to me. Oh my goodness. When I was in college, I went on a European tour with the home economics department at my college because that was my major. And we went to Stratford on the Ivy, which is Shakespeare's home or his birthplace. And there's lots of thatched roof cottages like this there. And they were the most magical, charming, amazing thing I'd ever seen. I don't think I'd actually want to live in one, but who knows? I probably would with some ducks. All righty. So it is a little ominous here because it's kind of magical too. What can I say? There are so many fires burning in the West, and we always tend to kind of have this inversion where we get a pretty good smoke cover, and so we're under that currently. So it's really smoky. You can't really see the sky. The sun is kind of blotted out. When the sun later in the day, it's just this huge orange ball in the sky that you can look at with your bare eyes because it's under lots of layers of smoke. And I think they're cutting grain now too. And when they start to cut grain, that puts a lot of dust in the air. So the air quality becomes complete shit, but it makes the sky really interesting. It almost feels like fall, except for that it's 95 degrees outside. But it looks like it's, fallish. So we'll see how long this lasts. Hopefully, the smoke will clear soon. But usually, when it gets like this, it'll get really thick and heavy, and then it will get a rainstorm or something like that that shuts it down for a few days. So we'll see. I don't know. It's there's a lot of fires right now. So, and one not too far from us on the Fort Hall Indian Reservation. So, hoping that that one gets under control quickly. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of fires in Wyoming right now, and of course, California's got some fires. Washington, Oregon, yeah, Utah had something. Anyway, lots of fires. We're going to have a hard fire year. There just is not enough water by any stretch. So, really holding space that will continue to get some rain that will help tamp this down and help keep these fires under control because I'm really concerned about what it's going to look like this year. Not enough water. All righty. I called the edition this week the Enchanted Edition because I found something yesterday that just enchanted me to pieces, and I put a ton of time into just playing with it. And I'm going to share it with you too, but I think we don't spend enough time letting ourselves become enchanted, you know? We're so pragmatic, we're so busy, the dishes need to be done, the work needs to be attended to, the phone call needs to be returned. Uh, and how often do we get to be enchanted by anything, really? And there are some things on this planet that enchant all of us, and they're definitely not the same things, right? The things that really speak to your heart, that pull up magic for you, that pull up wonder for you, those are based on multiple things. They're just based on who you are as a person. They're based on your life experiences in this life and past lives. They're based on your epigenetics, your ancestral qualities, and what's in your DNA. There's a lot of parts to that, right? So, what enchants you might not be what enchants me. Though I think we're all enchanted sometimes by certain things. So, I want to share with you something that really enchanted me, always will. I found an article yesterday that really, really got me. It is from the Good News Network. It is called Irish Musicians Saving Oral History by Recording Elders Singing Old Campfire Songs. And the elders they're talking about are travelers. Travelers, that some would also refer to as gypsies. The term gypsy has become a little problematic. Uh, some consider it to be a slur, some don't. I don't know. I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's one of those terms that you got to be a little careful with. But at any rate, I have always really, really resonated with travelers. That's been a part of my spirit for since I was a kid. I look back through Halloween pictures from when I was a kid, clear up into adulthood, and discovered that I have been a gypsy for Halloween almost every year of my life. I have no idea why, except for that that's always what I wanted to be. I remember when I was in the fifth grade, I went to a thrift store and I bought this long flowing blue skirt. And then I went to the craft store and I bought these big round sequins that were like as big as a quarter. And I spent a million hours sewing those sequins to that skirt. So I sewed rows and rows and rows and rows of sequins onto that skirt so that it had all of the flash on it. And then, of course, I had some big hoops and I had a scarf over my hair. And this was a look for me that was just really comfortable. And anyway, it cracks me up. I wish that I had ever asked my mom, like, was that just a given that that's what I would be for Halloween? Because I always was. But I'm quite sure it was. That's just what I wanted to be. So I've been curious about that because I've always had a really soft spot in my heart for Romani people and travelers in general, or gypsies, if you will. And so anyway, I came across this article yesterday. So there is a collective called the Song Collectors Collective that are basically they are a group of travelers or have ancestry of travelers, and they are seeking out the old folks, the Scottish, Irish, and English traveler communities, and seeking out the singers. These are the people who hold the oral tradition through song and through their stories, of course. And so they have spent a great deal of time putting together their stories and their songs. And they're putting that all together on this amazing website called the Song Collectors Collective. It's actually songcollectors.org if you're curious about it. And that site has tons and tons and tons. They call them the tradition bearers. And they have tons of article or interviews, whole pages, that are dedicated to certain tradition bearers with interviews about their lives and their ancestry and their memories and then their songs. And so there's a lot of MP3s of them singing, and there's videos of them singing and telling their stories. And you guys, it is captivating. It is captivating. For me, it is enchanting, right? So, anyway, I have lots of work I could be doing, but I have been doing this and I don't hate it at all. Uh, One of the people who's worked on this project a lot is a man named Sam Lee. And Sam Lee said, I have loved spending time at the knee of these elders. I could have gone to university and gotten a music degree and have learned from the textbook, or just go to the well and drink from the most incredible source. I was very lucky. I caught an end of an era. Just, it's really cool. So he also uh, did a BBC 4-part documentary on these tradition keepers, and he went to Greece, Georgia, Romania, and other countries to continue meeting with more people and getting their oral histories recorded so that they're not gone forever. Because so many of the people who truly, were travelers, they're very old now. And their traditions and their songs and their stories are going to die with them if they don't get recorded. This is what happened with so many of the Native Americans and the First Nations people in Canada, mostly, well, not mostly, probably, well, maybe mostly from the residential schools, but also just because no one was doing this, no one was doing this. So, yeah. Yeah, Tara said Gypsy Skies Caravan is my business name. My dad's family grew up on the road as traveling musicians in Ireland and England. Yes. So, digging back into my ancestry, Tara, when I finally did my ancestry, I learned that my mom's family, a good branch of my mom's family, were travelers in England in the 1800s. And I think that's where that deep affinity for me comes from, as well as some past life memories. But anyway, so that's my enchantment this week. I had to share that with you guys because I think it's just amazing. And I hope that you enjoy it. If it's something that enchants you, I hope that you take some time on their site and get to know some of these incredible people and listen to them. I could seriously listen to them talk all day long. Their accents, their stories, just all of it. Just incredible stuff. So there you go. There's my enchantment. All righty. Then we have bitch scopes. Kelly called bitch scopes this week. Eris is the tip of the arrow. And it's awesome. She channeled messages from goddesses as well as, took a look at the astrology of the week and combined those into her scopes. And they are so good. So I hope you guys have a chance to take a peek at them. She also, of course, gives us a look at all of the stuff you need to know for the week and all of the astrology day by day. So for today, we have Venus conjunct Mars, which creates a desire to connect, and Pallas opposite Vesta, passionate about your personal beliefs. Internet fights will ensue. No one ever does that, right? Ever. Okay. Let's keep going. All right, my tip this week: set one goal every day. Smile at yourself or make someone else smile. Years ago, when Mars was little and adorable, now she's just a little bigger and still adorable, but we had a challenge. We went into the grocery store, and the challenge was to make eye contact with and smile at least 10 people. And so we bounce into the store, and here's my adorable little daughter just smiling at everybody. And everyone is making eye contact and smiling back and asking her, "How are you today?" And "You're sure a pretty kid," or "I sure love your big brown eyes," or, whatever, saying something kind to her. And she's just bouncing through that store on cloud nine. And she's constantly elbowing me. "I got another one. I got another one." Well, I, on the other hand, was failing miserably, and not for lack of trying. Everybody we came past, I'd smile at. I might even say hello, trying not to be creepy, but to be very friendly. And you guys, I walked out of that store with like two people under my belt that were willing to make eye contact with me and smile at me. My kid, on the other hand, basically had the whole store eating out of the palm of her hand by the time we left. I thought it was kind of sad. Not sad for me that I lost the challenge. I could roll with that. But sad that as adults, somehow we have lost that ability to connect. And as simple as smiling at someone in the grocery store or acknowledging someone who smiled and said hello to you. Wow. I think that that is a place that we can all grow, we can all pay attention to and be sure that we are bringing, that level of connection to whatever we're doing or wherever we're going. Because gosh, that was a big eye opener to me. And I feel like there's a piece of me that needs that connection in a way that I do wish there was more kindness there. So I don't know. So that's the challenge, is to set a goal every day, to smile at yourself and to make someone else smile. Smiling or making a goal every day doesn't have to be huge, right? It can be as small as, I'm going to switch the laundry once today. Right? Or I'm going to make that one phone call that's been hanging over my head, or whatever, you know. And maybe sometimes they're bigger goals, but one goal a day is achievable. It's attainable. And for those of us that are a disorganized mess, who are constantly flying by the seat of our pants, me, setting a daily goal is a good idea, because I might get a few things done. So I am instigating this plan. I clearly need it, but I thought that that may actually be helpful for some of you as well. So, okay, Caroline's column, a brand new article this week. What proof is there of reincarnation? An interesting article. And then Christie's energy oracle card this week is solitude. I think that's really interesting, considering we're feeling a little pensive and weird. I could definitely see us maybe seeking out a little extra solitude this week. Just maybe needing a stay at home day, a jammy day, a couch day. Yeah, sometimes you just do, right? And there isn't a thing wrong with that. Lillian said, "Who wouldn't make contact with an adorable kid? I can't help myself, yet I can't do the same with adults." Yeah, I know. Interesting, huh? Terry said, "The crows are visiting her. Yay!" Me too. Did I tell you guys about my neighbor shooting at the crows? I don't know if I did. I talked about it on True Crime Paranormal, but I'm not sure if I talked about it here. A couple of weeks ago, Scott went out into the pasture, and our next door neighbor was shooting at the crows with a BB gun. And they're living in a poplar tree that's much higher than his BB gun will ever reach. And I don't think that he would shoot them with more, because we live against the highway, and that would be like super illegal. And if you accidentally shot the windows out of a car or something, you'd be in all kinds of trouble. So, but it was still, Scott came in the house and said, the neighbor was shooting at your crows. And I'm like, oh my God, did you say something? And he said, no, I don't think you can actually hit him. I mean, I'm still a little sick about it, but I did warn the crows to stay away from him and stay away from that side of the yard. But it is where their nest is. But yeah, what the hell is that? Shooting at crows? That's a sin. That's a crime. It's a crime and a sin. Okay. All right, Melissa's postcard to the universe this week. Loved this. I honor my spirit. And it's a collection of all kinds of things that I honor her spirit. I love this. I love that she puts together collections of things that resonate with her, things that make her heart sing. What a cool idea. What a neat thing to do to honor your spirit. Also, she has a crystal wand in there that I'm coveting like crazy. All right. The crystal this week is scolecite. Scolecite encourages connection with self, supports solitude and peaceful reflection, assists with stepping out of drama. Well, by God, we all need that. Who wants drama? All right. Over at True Crime Paranormal, I do have a podcast with Christy. It is true crime. Some of you guys resonate with that. Some of you don't. It's okay. You don't have to. Pardon me, but it is a lot of the work that I've been doing lately. And so we have 2 new cases this week. We have Kaylin Blue. That was a murder that happened in Idaho Falls a couple of years ago, near where I live. And then the mysterious death of Blake Chappell, a teenager that died 10 years ago. under very suspicious circumstances. And so, if you're interested in what we're doing there, you can go to any podcast carrier and look for True Crime Paranormal, or just go to YouTube and you'll find everything we're doing over there. Okay. Alrighty, I think that's all. Yeah. So there's a video from Jamie. There's the Master of the Week from Anita. So be sure and check it out and read the articles. And I hope there's something in Luminous for everyone. There typically is. But that's all I've got to say about Luminous this week. I want to get into some readings so that we have a little time here. So, yeah, Sid said, thank goodness you can give the crows a heads up, right? I'll tell you what, though, I have got magpies over here like nobody's business. We feeding the crows has really, really attracted the magpies, and so they kind of they take turns in the feeder and sit in the trees and yell at each other when it's not their turn. But the magpies are there were 6 in the feeder all together the other day. I couldn't believe it. I've got a bunch of them, and people around here hate magpies. I don't know why. The farmers hate magpies, and they're also protected because they are the national bird of Mexico. I didn't realize. I've always heard from the farmers that they're trash birds and, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't realize till recently. I was visiting with a friend who is a farm family. And I said, yeah, I've been feeding the crows. And she's like, oh, why would you do that? I'm like, because I think crows are cool and so I'm having fun with them. And I said, and I was really attracted in a lot of magpies too. And they're so pretty. And so, of course, she went on a little rant about how much she hates magpies and that they're trash birds and they're garbage birds. And you should be able to kill them, but you can't. And the reason you can't is because they're the official bird of Mexico. And I went, oh my God. I did not realize that the hatred around here for magpies is a racist thing. I didn't know. Now I do. Magpies are beautiful. They are loud, but I like their loud. I think it's fun. But I didn't realize that the reason people hate them so much is because they're not supposed to kill them because they're protected because they're the official bird of Mexico. Got it. Yep, that says it all, doesn't it? Anyway, I think magpies are magical. I made good friends with one a couple of winters ago that would come out on the patio every morning and I'd feed her a few pieces of dog food. And she'd wait for me every morning and get her food and then off she'd go. But anyway, interesting. But crows and magpies are protected because they are migratory birds as well, in case you're wondering. But anyway. Oh, Sid said, I love feeding the grackles. I think they're related to crows that hang out in the Walmart parking lot. I lived in Mexico for 13 years, and I don't think I ever saw or heard a magpie. What a bummer. My cat sure killed tons of birds, though. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know what grackles are. I'll have to look that up. I don't know. Okay, well, let's take a look at the chat room here. I really do want to read from some decks today, everybody's decks. Okay, Tiffany said, would love a peek into some areas David and I are considering moving to. Central California versus Bay Area versus far northern. Washington, Port Angeles or Sequim. Okay, they're in the Southern California desert now. Northern California reads the best to me. Though I could see you going to Washington as well, to Port Angeles. Probably my top 2 there are Northern California and Port Angeles. I definitely feel like you're heading up the coast one way or another. Yeah. Interesting. Well, you'll have to keep us posted, Tiffany. For good measure, let's just pull you a card just for some support there. So we'll pull a card from the Gratitude Oracle from Angela Hartfield. cards is like the most boring part of radio because you need a minute to, shuffle them, organize them, pull them. And I don't like dead air. It makes me uncomfortable. But if there's dead air, that's why. Okay. Patience is the card. Interesting. So, in this process, being patient to let the right thing play out. And I think that a lot of that has to do with choosing where you want to go and then being patient with letting things like jobs and housing, start to materialize and show themselves. So, but isn't this card absolutely gorgeous? Patience. Nobody wants to see patience. Damn it, right? Mary said, I'd love a message on what's happening with my hummingbird feeder. They are drinking it down almost daily. Yeah. Yep. That's because it's such a dry year and they really, really need it this year more than ever. So I feel like a lot of hummingbirds have recognized your place as a safe place, and B, a place where they can have their needs met. And so they're telling their friends, but it's because it's such a dry year. Okay. It's also why bears are coming down. If you live in an area where there are bears, you're probably, this end of summer, early fall, you're going to see bears more often. We'll see bears in the news and stuff like that more often because they're coming down from the mountains because they're running out of food. Okay. Alishaya said, do you see me staying here? Will there be a shift for the better in the energies, or is the best option to start making moves? I think that you'll stay there for around 6 months and reevaluate. I wouldn't be surprised to see you move out of there in 2022. It could happen. I feel like I do feel like it can get better there. Like the energy of that place can get some better, but I still feel like you're going to find something that's better for you down the road. Let's pull a card from Keisha's deck. Okay. This is the Love card, Archangel Shamuel. Open yourself to the love that surrounds you. Allow love to flow freely. Ask Archangel Shamuel to help you find what brings joy to your heart. Which is interesting advice because I think that as you are trying to shift the energy where you are and create a more comfortable space there for yourself and for your family, that it's really important to remember that piece to find some hobbies, find some things that you like or want to do, to occupy some of your time and to help you shift your own energy, but also keep pulling yourself back to the main goal, and that is creating a loving space for everybody. Okay. Maureen had a phone interview today for a patient navigator position. Still waiting to hear on a remote position with Boston based Alexian Pharma. Would love to know what the cards say. So, regarding Alexian, let's take a look. Let's pull an energy oracle card. I just feel like you're on the cusp, Maureen, of something coming through. And I still feel like you're going to end up with something that's at least partially remote, where you get to stay home a little more. Okay. All right. Sacral chakra. Oh, this card is about creativity, emotional expression, and core beliefs. The crystal is orange calcite. The meditation is I feel, I create, I communicate, I matter. What an important card for you, message for you to think about as you are going forward with applying for jobs, because this is kind of a daunting process. It's not always the funnest, right? So, what a great message and reminder. I want to give that to you as a positive affirmation that I feel, I create, I communicate, I matter. I still feel like you're going to hear from the Boston job and that it's very possible still that there's good news there from them. Partly because I feel like they have more than one position open. I think it's taking forever to get word from them because they're so dang busy. But Maureen, I'm still holding a lot of hope, holding some energy in that job. But I do feel like something is around the corner. Rebecca said, I have a friend from childhood and we've lost touch. I always wondered what happened to that friendship. You know, Rebecca, I feel like more than anything, you both just went in different directions in your life and just kind of moved on in a way that everybody changed. And I don't really get a lot of animosity there or anything. I think that it's just one of those things where everybody's lives went in different directions, and here we go. You know, it's just one of those things. I am going to pull you a card from Kelly's deck from Sweary Spirituality because I always think you can use a little more sass. All right. Remember when you were fearless? You're still that person. I love that. That's a good reminder to you while you've been, you know, moving a little bit and shifting around, trying to find where you want to put your roots down. You're still that person. All right, Tara said definitely shifting right now, possibly leaving my day job and doing more with my healing practice at home. That would be amazing. That would be so good for you and for your kids. I really am going to hold space with you that that happens, that you can make that happen. Denise said, do you see a change in my current job happening by the end of 2021? Moving on to a new adventure or a change of scope in current job? I don't see you moving on to a different job. I do see a change in the scope of the current job. I do feel like some reorganizing is happening, change in job description, responsibilities, things like that. I do feel like that will play out. I don't think that you're going to be leaving them though. Okay, let's pull you a gratitude oracle card just for fun, Denise, while we're at it. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, the card is generosity. That's so beautiful. That's so very much you. And all I want to do, Denise, is to help shift the energy for you of pulling more generosity towards you. You're very generous to your coworkers, to your family. I just like to see more of that mirrored back to you. All right. Laurie said that her daughter has blocked her on all social because she was offended. She says she's not sure by what, but she feels like everything she says these days is wrong in the eyes of her daughter. She said, I don't interfere in her business at all, though I am supporting her financially. I feel like she's trying to cut me out of her life in every other way. She has just told me she doesn't feel comfortable having me come over to her home anymore, and I'm just reeling. She says it's because of my beliefs, but I don't really think she knows what I believe. So is she coming to her own conclusions? I'm so upset because I love and care about her so much, and this feels like a knife in my back. And she has my 11-year-old grandson, and if I can't go over to see him, I don't know what I'll do. Oh, honey, I am so sorry. So sorry. That's terrible. I feel like she will shift on this. I do feel like this has to do with political beliefs, and that's kind of where she's at. However, I'm confused by someone who's being supported financially by someone, but also wants to cut them out of their life. I'm not quite sure how that works, but I feel like you guys are going to work something out. I think it might take a minute to get to that point, but I feel like you will come together on something. Though you may have to make an agreement that you're not going to talk about social or political topics at all, because that seems to be where she's getting tripped up, and there needs to be some kind of an agreement there for both of you. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh, Terry would love a reading about her family. I want to get over to the other chat too and pull a few cards. Terry, I'm going to pull a card from Mo Tarot. Denise said, lots of smoke in Denver. Also, mountains are obscured, which is hard to do. Yeah, you can't see the Tetons right now from here. And you can always see the Teton mountain range. Not right now. You can always see at least the Grand. Not right now. All right. All right. The card, Terry, is the Virtue card. And I feel like with your family, this is very much about some family members really kind of shifting to a place of recognizing that they need each other and finding some ways to be more of a tight knit clan than of people that are constantly at each other, you know? And I know you guys have really struggled with people being able to get along. So I like that virtue card because I feel like we're going to see more people here in the next 6 months or so kind of start becoming more tight knit with each other and with you. I don't see you being the odd man out of this any longer. I feel like you'll be a part of that. So, at any rate, that's where I see you guys shifting and people, some alliances forming that are a little unlikely. All righty. Let's jump up into the other chat here quick. Stephanie said she's got a nest of brand new baby birds just outside her front door. Oh, Mom built a nest on the porch light. Oh my goodness. That's so sweet. We used to always get robins that would nest in the eaves of our patio, but then we started getting all of these crows and magpies, and the robins don't nest here anymore because, no, they're not safe. And I don't want to see something horrifying. I really don't. Yeah. Okay, Jane said, wondering if Max is not well or just not dealing with heat and indoor living well. Jane, I don't think Max is well. I feel like he is slowing down. When I feel him, I have kind of a dry, funny taste in my mouth. I really wonder about his kidneys because I suspect he isn't fully well. I don't know that I think it's an emergency. This is likely old cat stuff, but I'm with you. I would be worried too if this was my kitty. I just don't think he's not quite himself. Yeah. Sorry to hear that. Okay. Norella said, my daughter and I had an argument this morning, and I'm supposed to go to her house for a birthday celebration. I'm fearful we're going to have issues all weekend. I feel like you guys can come to some common ground, Norella. I do. I don't think you can just ignore it away, though. I feel like you'll have to have a conversation about it and work a little bit on, working through that issue to the best that you can and just finding a compromise. But I feel like you can find a way through that. I would not go to her house this weekend without having that conversation. I feel like it needs to happen and just kind of work through what the conversation was about and, what you need to do to come together on something so that everybody's okay. But I think you can, and that you can still go this weekend and actually have a nice time. So I'm holding a lot of space for that. Oh, Tiffany said her boyfriend told her about an author and a book he read about a man who agreed he would smile at strangers and he was having to force himself to do it. He smiled at a stranger across the street one day, and it turns out the person was planning on going home and committing suicide and changed their mind because of the smile. See, that's kind of where I'm at with it, Tiffany. I feel like because you don't ever know what kind of battle other people are fighting, if you can extend yourself and take yourself out of your comfort zone, you just don't know how much you might, touch and support somebody in a way that you might not really realize at the time. Yeah, that's why kindness matters so dang much. At the same time, would you want to be the person who pushes somebody to over the edge, that breaks the last straw because you have to be snippy with them or flip them off or go in front of them in line or whatever it is? If somebody's acting weird or out of place, maybe they don't feel good. Maybe they're sick. Maybe they're confused. Maybe they've taken some medicine. Maybe they just had some really bad news and they're just really reeling. You don't know. And so kindness is really the only path, right? I agree 100%. All righty. Well, we've done what we do. We've talked down to the end of the show. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I want to let you know that I'm a professional psychic advisor over at one2listen.com, and you can find me there every day doing readings and the stuff I do. So please come over there and find me for a reading, some mediumship, some animal communication, a pep talk, whatever it is, I said energy work, some balancing work, but I gotta go. So thank you so much for being here. You have been listening to the Katie Weaver Show here on One Two Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.